So many things have been said concerning the discovery of purpose in our previous classes. So today, I'll be focusing on how to maximize time and the value of time, the relevance of time in purpose deployment. While you exhibit your purpose, while you live a purposeful life, while you put your purpose to work, something is very, very important for you to take note of, and that is time. Okay, so I'll be talking about the relevance of time in this class today as regards to purpose deployment. Now, Miles Murrow of blessed memory says time is an important part of our lives. Time is an important part of our lives. He said it gives order to our days and also allows us to set schedules for our lives. But Miles Murrow said schedules in themselves are not, they are worthless unless we have a purpose behind the schedule. If you make a schedule for the day, this is the way I want my month to run, this is the way I want my week to run, this is the way I want my day to run. However, there is no purpose to that end. That schedule is worthless. That schedule is useless in its time. Now listen to me. It is useless to keep track of time if there is no end towards which we are moving. If there is no end in moving, now like what is this? So there is this proverb in Africa that says, what is the joy or what is the happiness of an inmate, okay, a prisoner who is having a wristwatch? Okay, possibly an inmate that has been given life sentence. What important is that wristwatch in his hand? Keeping track of what time. So that is why it is very, very useless to keep track of time when there is no end towards which we are moving. And then Dr. Sam Ekundayo, the purpose preacher, my purpose mentor, said something one time in one of his books. He said one of the most effective ways to live is to be driven by eternity, because many people waste their lifetime focusing on visible and temporary things, but that is not how God intends us to live. So many are focused on temporary things. They're just doing temporary things that have no eternal value, things that have no eternal purpose, and that is not the way God wants us to live. Listen to me. Eternity is duration without measure. That's what eternity is. Duration without measure. And time is a temporary interruption in eternity. Time is just is an interruption in eternity. Eternity has neither beginning nor an end. For it is our outside time. For it is just outside time. Eternity is outside time. It has no beginning. It has no end. So what is it now when we talk about time compared to eternity? So time, on the other hand, starts the very minute we are born, and time ends when we die. It is but a very brief part of our life. It is but a very brief moment of our existence. So time is very limited. It has a beginning when we're born, and it has a ending when we die. That is what time is. But eternity is forever. It has no beginning. That is why our life must be focused not on the mundane things, not on the things now, but on the things which are eternal. In the book of Isaiah chapter 55, verse 8 to 9, and verse 11, listen to what the Bible says. It said, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So shall my words be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the things whereto I send it." Wow, that is the word of God. Now, looking at this book of Isaiah chapter 55 that I just read, God, who sees the end from the beginning, He set our course in accordance with His overall purpose. He set the course of our lives in accordance, in concurrence with His overall purpose for our lives, not our immediate needs. Now, the plan of God, the courses of God, the purpose of God are not set according to our immediate needs, what we need now. No, He has set it according to His overall purpose for our lives. Now, His timing is always better than our own timing. Now, this is because He sees our whole lives and then how they fit into His entire purpose for our lives and others. God sees our entire life. He sees everything about us. He sees how each day of our lives fits into His eternal purpose for our lives. We may not know it, but He knows it. He knows it. Now look at what Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 11 says. The Bible says he has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the hearts of men. Yet they cannot fathom what God has done from beginning to the end. See, when God created us in time, He set a certain time for the height of our maturity. It is not the day you were born that you became matured. So after that beauty declines, we are ready to move into eternity. The beauty that we have now, oh, you are beautiful, you are handsome, fine. They were all part of the height that God has imputed into us for maturity when He created us. However, when that beauty declines, what happens now is we move into eternity. And this is possible because time is not our permanent home. God placed us within time, but made us to be eternal beings. I need you to understand this course very well. Time is not our permanent home. Okay, so you were born, 100 years, you spent 1,000 years, if there's anything possible like that. Okay, you spend 100 years, you spend 50 years, whatever be the time you spend, it is not your permanent home. God has placed us within time, but He made us to be eternal beings. We are eternal beings, so we are not limited to time here. We are not limited. That's why you must value what you do within the period of time that you are here. That beauty has to do with maturation. The beauty that God gives to us has to do with maturation. It has to do with fulfillment, and it has to do with perfection. Everything that is in you that is called beauty, everything that makes you you, has been packaged there, all right, for fulfillment and also for perfection. That simply means that God created everything with a purpose, and then He gives every purpose a time that allows it to progress to perfection. God made everything purposefully. God now gave everything that He has made a time frame. What is it? That thing that He has created purposefully might grow onto perfection, might grow progressively onto fulfilling the mandate of God. Wow. So God makes everything beautiful in His time. So it gives to it. It gives. Now every time that's what that book of Ecclesiastes was saying. Every time that God has given to what He has made, God makes those things beautiful in that time. So meaning that if God has created you, but if it is not your timing, things might not be beautiful, things might not work out well even for you at a period of time in your life, because it is not the timing of that showing. It's not the shiny time. Okay, so now what do we see? This simply means that if you fail to carry out your life's purpose within the time frame that God has set for it, for the fulfillment of that purpose, my brother, that purpose will no longer be beautiful in the sight of God. And it will not also measure up to the desire and the intention of God. There is a time for purpose. There is a time for purpose fulfillment. There is a time for you to live according to the intention of God for your life. If I fail to carry out my purpose, to work on my life's assignment within the framework, like within the time, within the period that God has set for it, it will no longer be beautiful. That's what I would say. God makes all things beautiful in its time. That's your purpose. Has a timing. It has a time frame, and it should be beautiful within that time. It will be beautiful rather within that time frame. When it is no longer the time, then it is no longer beautiful. What do we learn for that? God always makes things come to maturity within His specified time. God will make things to come to maturity, to come to perfection within the specified time of God for that thing. He has built into all creation the ability to find completeness. He has built into every creation, yourself inclusive, myself inclusive, the ability to find fulfillment, the ability to find perfection, the ability to find beauty before the time we passed. That is as true for men and women as for any plant within the garden. I have a garden, okay, and then I plant things there. When these things begin to grow, when they begin to shoot out, I see the beauty of it. Now, just today, I went to my garden and I harvested my beans. It started drizzling, and then I quickly went to the garden to harvest the beans that were ready, for harvest. I quickly did that. Now, if I didn't do it at that time, there is all tendency that harvest will rot. It will just rot, and I will not be able to get it again, and that will not be fine. So the same way God has set everything in our lives. Now, there is a question. God's question is never how many years have you lived. No, God is not going to ask anybody like, how many years have you lived? Oh, 120 years, 150 years, thank God for your life. But God is not going to ask you how many years have you lived. God is going to, or how old are you? Okay, how old are you now? I'm not sure there's any question like that but from God in the scriptures. How old are you now? But rather, what will God ask? What have you done? What have you done with your life? What have you done with your time? What have you done with the period that you have here on earth? So in essence, life is not measured by duration, but by donation. Life is not measured by duration, but by donation. From God's perspective, well done is more important than long lived. Oh, long live the king. For God, well done, that you are doing well. You are doing what is expected for you to do. It is more important to God than long live. Can you cap that? Jesus spent just 33 years on earth. Methuselah spent 969 years. 969 years on earth. Now, compare the two of them and see how they lived. Look at the impact they made while they were here on earth. That's what we are talking about. So well done to Jesus. Long live to Methuselah. But you know who among them is more relevant. So God's original purpose and his future plans, calls for us to live forever. Therefore, a length of years is not the measure of life for God. Your age does not impress him. See, your age, my age does not impress God. What you are doing with your life, what I'm doing with my days, what I'm doing with this time is what matters to God. It is not your age. Some people, they don't even want people to know their age. Some people, they keep their age. You see, that is not what it matters. What matters is, what are you doing with that time? What are you doing with that age? What are you doing with the period that God has given to you? I want you to mark this, that old age is not a sign of God's favor and approval. Old age, that somebody has grown old, hey, see great, that is not a sign of God's favor and approval. It's not, let me just say, it's not a complete sign, or it's not a perfect sign of the fact that God has approved this person's life, or God has favored this person. Oh, see long life. Old age is not. God's interest is living a purposeful life unto fulfillment within the time frame you have. That's what interests God. The interest of God is not somebody has grown old. Yes, we will grow old, we will live to the fullness of our age. But what are you doing within the time that you have? If not, how do you account for numerous wicked and godless people around us? Wicked people are so many. They are so numerous. And they are around us. And then they do terrible things. And they are very old. Will you say because God approves of their lives and acts, that is the reason they are that old? Of course, no. What I'm trying to insinuate is that when you see a lot of people who are wicked, a lot of people who are unbecoming, and then they grow old, will you say they are old because God favors them? Will you say that old age is because God approves of everything that they are doing? No, now it is not. So old age is not a substantial evidence that somebody has an approval from God in the way he or she is living. So I want you to consider the difference in the life. I mentioned that already, in the life of Methuselah, who lived now around 69 years, and nothing meaningful and motivational was recorded of him. If you read the Bible, the book of Genesis said, and he died. He died. With that of Jesus, Jesus lived just 33 years. He was preaching God's kingdom, he was healing the sick, and he was delivering those who are oppressed by the devil. He was feeding thousands of people. He was performing miracles. Though he died, yet he resurrected. There was something he maximized within the period that he was here on earth. This means that the major interest of God in human timing is purpose fulfillment. This time is always given for the completion of purpose. Time is always given for the completion of purpose. Now, this course also has timing. That's why we ran it up, and this is essential. We started at a day. The matriculation was one day. The convocation is also set. And so, that is how purpose is. There is a time that is set for its completion. Whenever time is used for things that do not work towards the given purpose, anytime we use time for the things which are not according to purpose, you know what happened? That time is wasted. And the opportunity to reach perfection is delayed or is even lost. Opportunity to reach that divine perfection is delayed or is lost when you do not maximize time, when you do not appropriate the right time to the right purpose. So Trying to start behind divine schedule is trying not to meet up with perfection. That's why you have to stand up now. You have to start to engage. You have to work with God. You have to start doing something with your life. Now consider the assignment that you have been given in class. So you have to, you don't need to retard. You don't need to lay by. You don't need to allow the why me mentality. You don't need to allow mediocrity. You don't need to allow fear. You don't need to allow your background to even put your back to the ground. You don't need to allow your adversity to become a calamity for you. You have been taught your adversity is God's university to train you, to prune you, to prepare you for the future ahead. So you cannot just stay without doing anything. Time is running fast. I am encouraging you in this lecture to understand your purpose for life and then give time a meaning. In the book of Ephesians chapter 5 verse 15 to 16, Apostle Paul exhorts us, every one of us. He says, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools but as wise. He now said, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Redeeming the time because the days are evil. So this is my counsel for you in this lecture. Time is so relevant in purpose deployment. If you don't maximize your time, if you don't invest well in your timing, the fulfillment of your purpose might either be delayed or even lost, and God will not be happy with that. My name is John O. Ajao. By the grace of God, I am the director and the team lead for Purpose Castle, the Institute for Global Discipleship and Purpose Discovery Training. I want to believe you are blessed with this lecture today, the relevance of time in purpose deployment. Drop your comments and then ask your questions in the comment section. Please do well to subscribe to this page and also press the notification button so that you can receive more teaching. God bless you. I will see you in the live session class.